Well, that fire now luckily under control, but as you can see here this morning, still plenty of damage left behind from that blaze. I don't think I have to say much to explain the conditions here at Far East El Paso right now. Heavy winds, blowing dust, blinding amounts of sand. I've got sand in my eyes right now. I can't see a thing. Our photographer and I were there with about a dozen people who blocked entry to Bruce Foods. They weren't happy with their sudden firing, and a man who still worked there sure wasn't happy with us tonight. Sunland Park Fire Captain Dennis Shawn wasn't a firefighter when 9/11 happened, but the images and audio seen and heard around the globe still haunt him to this day. The faces of those fallen heroes serving as inspiration as he continues to serve this community. Police have converged on London Bridge in the heart of the British capital after an incident has forced closure of the bridge and a nearby transit station. This is simply a heartbreaking situation. There's really no other way to describe this. We're right in front of that home where El Paso police say a 3-year-old boy has died. The El Paso branch of the Air Marine Unit covers almost 800 miles of the U.S.-Mexico border. That's more than any other Border Patrol sector, and that's a lot of ground to cover. We just arrived on scene. Very limited information this morning, but you can clearly see there is a heavy backup. This is I-10 in Yarborough westbound. Police have arrested 34-year-old James Schoolcraft and a 26-year-old man in connection to 7 robberies around the city. Where we are right now is Mesquite, New Mexico on Stern Drive, and this is the situation you'll be dealing with driving on this road just off of Interstate 10. A string of Christmas Day robberies that lasted around 3 hours, resulting in 2 arrests today. I'm Nylander. Good evening. This will be the home for up to 450 migrant children separated from their families as part of the Trump administration's zero-tolerance policy on illegal immigration.
We currently spend more than $1 billion a year of taxpayers' dollars taking care of unaccompanied alien minors.
The use of so-called tent cities like the one just set up here in Tornillo receiving harsh criticism from several lawmakers, including El Paso's congressman.
It's inhumane, it's cruel, and it's un-American.
Beto O'Rourke represents Tornillo in Washington. He says there needs to be consequences for people entering the country illegally, but that should not include taking children away from their parents. Already he's proposing legislation in the practice.
At a moment that those parents have finally reached our country trying to seek asylum as they leave some of the most violent, some of the most brutal countries on the planet.
Texas State Senator Jose Rodriguez also calling for an end to family separation.
This is reminiscent of Sheriff Arpaio in Arizona housing prisoners in tents, violating due process and the rule of law.
But El Paso native and New Mexico Governor Susana Martinez not so quick to call for the end of these operations.
Do we know and can we verify when they come across with a child in their hand that that child belongs to that adult? Or are we actually becoming complacent to human trafficking?
The shooting of 2 Long Beach, California firefighters killing 17-year veteran Captain Dave Rosa has taken the entire industry and nation by storm.
It's a tough day.
A 77-year-old man opened fire on the first responders and a civilian Monday after a feud with his neighbor, according to prosecutors.
It's not really a matter of if, but a matter of when.
The events causing the Sunland Park Fire Department to take a closer look at safety precautions for its firefighters.
Routine emergencies turn hostile at any moment.
After several recent mass shootings across the country, Sunland Park Fire is giving each of its firefighters a bulletproof vest and helmet like these.
Yes, one of the most important parts that we do have in here is what we call the rifle plate. And this is a plate that can withstand high velocity rounds.
With some of its firefighters having guns pulled on them in the past, he says it's a good tool to have, but far from being the final solution.
We have to add a whole other set of strategies and tactics to our responses.
We have been in contact with Long Beach. We've offered our condolences.
The El Paso Fire Department does not have tactical gear, but Assistant Fire Chief Rick Carson tells me safety is always the top priority.
A lot of situations we go to, whether it be fire, EMS, hazardous materials, there's a lot of unknowns.
He says their focus is on situational awareness, preparing firefighters to assess the safety of any call.
We're just practicing awareness right now, and we're hoping it doesn't come to that.
You'll see only on 9.
Good morning, Sandra. Sunland Park Fire Captain Dennis Shawn wasn't a firefighter when 9/11 happened, but the images and audio seen and heard around the globe still haunt him to this day. The faces of those fallen heroes serving as inspiration as he continues to serve this community.
Here we go.
Sunland Park Fire Captain Dennis Shawn Jr. is on a mission.
Our brothers, 343, gave their lives in one day. We cannot forget that.
Step by step, it's a mission now 2 years strong, honoring the memory of 343 firefighters for laying their lives on the line on 9/11.
We got two isolated pockets of fire. We should be able to knock it down with 2 lines. Where you go that? 78th floor, numerous 1045 call horns.
Taking them 110 floors in the 343 commitment.
Almost every day he's on duty, Sunland Park Fire Captain Shawn symbolically ascends 110 floors on this special stair climber. The same number of flights making up the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center.
We take them all the way to the top because it's a symbolic top of the towers.
He shares every step of this special journey with you on social media.
This morning's climb is for Lieutenant Ronald Kerwin.
He's now just past the halfway mark,
But this one has huge significance.
surpassing the milestone with his 172nd climb in remembrance of fallen FDNY Lieutenant Ronald Kerwin.
The 172nd brother.
The pictures of all the 343 always by his side.
It's not me. I'm just the one carrying them to the top. It's their stories. They're the ones who made the ultimate sacrifice.
This 343 commitment taking him across the country to meet several of the family members left behind.
And it makes it personal because of that.
It's a strenuous climb, but one he believes doesn't compare to the sacrifices he's honoring every time another of his brothers is taken to the top.
Rest easy, brother. We'll take it from here.
And so far, Captain Shawn has climbed almost 19,000 floors at this point. To give you an idea of just how much that is, he says that's enough to take him up to the airspace where some aircraft could be flying. So a lot of steps throughout this mission. He's gone across the country taking part in national stair climbs. Right now, he's in New York meeting with some of those 9/11 families, showing his continued support. We're live in Sunland Park, New Mexico this morning. Course Nylander, News Channel 9.